Morning. It's Kat coming to you with a live mini-sode stream of the Mom's Adventure Paradox podcast. I'm so glad you're here. If you can hear, I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat. My last mini-sode ended with a bit of a cough attack. So I am going to keep this mini-sode mini, baby. And we are going to talk today about paradoxes. What is it about paradoxes? Why did I choose this word to be in the title of my book, which came out in 2023? And why do I use it as a title of my podcast, The Mom's Adventure Paradox? So let's just go over to our friends here in Google and see what happens when you search for paradox. I'm going to give you the AI overview. AI is really incredible for searches like this, for understanding how our world sees something as a reflection of all of the things that have been put into the internet. And the Adventure Paradox podcast is one of them now, as is my book. And a lot of people have made little videos. So here's a little podcast about it. And let's hear what AI says when you just put the search in. I will link this in the show notes if you want to go look at the exact search and keep doing your own exploration. I encourage you to do this because I feel like it is part of the process, paradoxes and understanding your own connection to whatever paradoxes are showing up or not showing up in your life. So let's talk about this. AI overview. A paradox is a statement or situation that seems to contradict itself, but may still be true. It can also refer to a person or thing with contradictory qualities. How about a couple of examples? Yes, please. I love examples. Youth is wasted on the young. Oh, I love that one. I love it because, the energy and drive and everything that you have in your 20s, you don't have it in your 50s. I can think of a lot of country songs that make fun of this paradox. And in my own life, I was thinking about this one yesterday. I moved to Jackson Hole, Wyoming in my 20s. And one of my big whys, and we'll get to whys in another mini-sode this month, but one of my big whys was because my knees were young. And I knew I wanted to live in Jackson Hole and ski my brains out, quote, while my knees were still young in my 20s. Well, guess what? Literally, I entered my 30s, I got married, and in our first year of marriage, what did I do? I blew my knee out. Shortly thereafter, I had another injury, which ultimately, perhaps as a result of me being in a state of rest and not being able to go out and really push it and drive and get into some of that testosterone and masculine energy that often, as skiers in ski culture, women are often in. It's just a part of it, right? So how can we do that with flow, the paradox with the feminine? We'll tap into that and cue the Jackson Hole Babe Force. You know who you are, and that incredible journey of being strong, sexy, and soulful as a woman in the ski industry. But I digress. Back to the reason I maybe got pregnant was because I was resting and chilling and wasn't able to go on that yurt trip with my husband because I broke my ankle. This was about 2 years after my knee, but skiing wasn't fun anymore after I was injured. And ironically, going back to the paradoxes, pregnancy actually healed my knee. I believe it was all of the hormones. Perhaps it was going up 60 plus pounds and then coming back to skiing at the highest weight I'd ever been on skis at. And I had so much compassion and empathy for all of my clients who I took through a weight loss journey because I suddenly understood what it felt like to try to go out and do something that you love when you're, quote, just too heavy for it, or so much heavier than you've ever been, when you're dragging all of this extra weight. And I was skiing yesterday into Laramie Bowl, and I was reminded on Laramie Bowl of the point where I was with two friends. You know who you are, my good friends, longtime Jackson Hole friends. And I literally had to lay down and just breathe because I was so out of breath and my legs were just maxed. And I literally couldn't stand another minute and get down to the chairlift without laying down and resting. And I fully understood then what it is to be out of shape, so out of shape that you can't do the things you love. And the truth is, we can get out of shape at any age, any stage, whether it's postpartum. And a lot of my clients, I didn't understand this when I was young and coaching them in my 20s. And they were saying, yeah, I put the weight on when I had children. I'm going, well, when was that? They're like, well, 26 years ago. And I realized there must be something that happens in motherhood where we put things on that we are either unable or unwilling or, quote, don't have the time, the busyness. Something's going on there that we don't take care of ourselves and take the moment to tap into that paradox of, gosh, how am I really doing the things that I love? And for me, a huge part of my life and my lifestyle is being active. And skiing is one of the things I love the most. Here I am rocking my Bears Fit jersey, by the way. This is a gym in Chicago that is in part owned by the Bears, but they do a lot of really tough NFL workouts. I love working out. I love feeling my body and finding that edge, getting stronger. In fact, I'm about to go into a personal training session, a little treat I gave myself for bathing suit season. If this is you and you want support with this journey, reach out to me because I totally get you. And the cycle of feeling like, oh, I'm over it. I'm good in my body. Everything's good. And then coming back to, wow, I'm feeling like kind of insecure about getting in a bathing suit at the end of this month. Huh, what is that about? I'm super strong, and yet I'm carrying a little bit of extra weight in my 40s that has not come off with the things that I've done in the past. Guess what? You're in your 40s now. You're in a different chapter. You have older kids now. It looks different at every season. Moms, really talking to you. At every season, we have a reason why we're not doing it or why we are, right? So for me, I know something I can control is getting to that workout. I can also control if I have a little bit of a tickle in my throat, maybe not overdoing it. Not saying I'm going to go 5 hours today, saying I'm going to do that hour. I'm going to rest. I'm going to do another thing. I'm going to rest. And that's that paradox, you know? Actually, this goes to another one. Another example back to AI here. In a strange paradox, the medicine made Harry sick before it cured him. Oh my gosh, that's got to be one of my favorites. The medicine made Harry sick before it cured him. This is totally the adventure paradox. You know, if you don't go take the adventure, you don't actually know what paradoxes are going to show up. And I guarantee you, the paradoxes are there. They are waiting for you. You know, if you are a boss, if you own your own business, and if you're a mom, you're a total boss of your family, quote, business, right? Of your life, of your children, of yourself. You know, you are a boss, my friend. Are you showing up as the boss you want to be? Do you ever give yourself a day off? Do you ever give yourself a break? One of the paradoxes of owning your own business, by the way, is that it can be really hard to turn it off, to take a break. I heard a podcast interview about this the other day where he was like, actually, I think some of the most relaxed people are not entrepreneurs. They're the ones who have the 9 to 5 and they can turn it off when they go home. No longer their problem. Speaking of, I'm gonna have another drink of water here. Hold on. I feel like I've been talking for a while. Yeah, I have. And I do have to get to a workout in 5 minutes. So we're going to wrap this up. So here's the thing. Paradoxes are really just part of the process. They are part of the process. You are going to find what they are in your journey. I'm pulling out my really cool new journal, by the way, which I got in the Dolomites, which has pictures throughout. So here's one of Paso Portoy. If you can't see it, it's a tram rising up into the clouds with these beautiful mountains all around. This is like cemented into my mind as an image of Italy because the first week that I was there, it was all cloudy. We had a few moments of getting above the clouds. And then the second week, it was all sun. And I was able to see all the things behind the clouds. And it was like this beautiful reveal of the bride behind the veil. It was just this incredible, oh my God, I was just like tearing up, totally in love with Italy. Married to someone who's half Italian. So, like, go figure. But it's always been there. So, I really want to touch into a couple of paradoxes that I got into writing in my journal right before I hopped on the mic today. And if you have not slowed down to do some journaling today, this week, this month, I'm going to encourage you to do that. Journaling could look like a lot of different things, by the way. It could look like pulling out the voice notes on your phone and just riffing for a minute and then listening to yourself and play it back. By the way, that's a great segue to starting your own podcast or making one when you're ready is those voice notes. What is it that you find yourself talking about? What are your deepest struggles? Where are you? Right? In my book, The Adventure Paradox, which you can find on Amazon by Kat Caldwell Myers, you will see that I have a reflection point at the end of each of those chapters for you to really tap into where you are in your own journey, your own adventure. And there are so many ways to do that, but I feel like writing for me, and I'm a writer, helps slow it down. So you can really see and think through. And there are lots of studies connecting your hand to your brain. So I love physical writing. I'm a big fan of that. Again, you can do some typing, you can write stuff on your phone, all of that. But what happens when you slow down and you do that reflection, you do that writing? And then what happens when you pair it with action? And I'm going to challenge you because this is a paradox, reflection and action. So often we get so hung up on the busyness, action, 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 action. And we never take a moment to just reflect on where we are in those actions because it might change. Like me doing a mini-sode. I wrote in my journal, I could do all 5 of these mini-sodes in one day. Then I had a cough attack. I can feel today, if I keep talking, I might have another one coming on, right? These are the paradoxes. So we can set these goals, this adventure, commit to this thing, but then we need to give ourselves the time to reflect and trust the process. And writing is a great way to do that. Uh, let's see. I want to say a few more things about that. Um, and I think the biggest one is just that it is a practice. So keep coming back to it with the paradoxes. It's a practice. It's not like you're going to solve this once and then never go back to it. Whatever you did in your 20s, yes, that's done. It's over. But there may still be little things, little inklings that are a part of you that you haven't gotten to yet. Maybe in your 20s, you wanted to go backpacking in Europe. I don't know. Now you're 50, you feel like you can't do it. Guess what? I interviewed a woman who in her 80s went and did the Camino. Okay. She went and backpacked the Camino de Real to find herself in her 80s. It is never too late, my friends. Trust the process of tapping into these paradoxes, commit to the adventure, and go for it. Come what may. That's my mini-sode for you today. I love you all. If you want to work with me, you want to know more about me, check out my website, theadventureparadox.com. If you loved this mini-sode, if it did something for you, please consider writing a review. If you have trouble doing that, I had a girlfriend reaching out saying, I'm trying to write a review. How the heck do you do these things on Apple Podcasts? I have a little video that can walk you through that. Just reach out to me, theadventureparadox@gmail.com, and we will hook you up. And if you send us a review, we will send you a little free gift. So send us a screenshot to that email or DMs. You can find me all over social media. You might even be watching me on social media tonight. One last thing I do want to share because I feel like it's really important. This week I was listening to Mel Robbins. Love Mel Robbins, love her show. And she was talking about a Harvard study about turning your phone to grayscale. She has a video about this and can show you how to do it, by the way, because it was a little bit tricky to figure out. If you put your phone on grayscale, you're a lot less likely to be tapped into it and tapped into the busyness and the doom scrolling and all of the things that we know are not good for us in social media. So if you're trying to have a new relationship with your phone, tap into that paradox because you don't like the one that you currently have, try going to grayscale. I have put my phone in grayscale. Those of you who are watching, this is what it looks like. It's all black and white. It's not very sexy anymore, okay? You can see suddenly you're like, and your brain is like, eh. When we put it in full color, it can be overstimulating. And I believe this is part of why podcasts are so powerful right now, is because we're wanting some sort of input, but we're not wanting too much because we're so overstimulated and we're so busy and we're so overwhelmed in this world, this incredible world that we are part of, but that we have also culturally created to overstimulate us. So remember, the work is always available to you to slow down, pause, go quiet, go still, do that inner work, go grayscale, my friends, and figure out what it's really all about for you when it comes down to black and white, comes down to paradoxes, comes down to duality, because that is where the gold is. And then take action. Keep going. I love you. I'm rooting for you, and I hope this mini-sode has served you. Have a beautiful day. Ciao.